Hello everyone, Tina here for Papertrey Ink. I hope you're having a fantastic day. Thanks for joining me. Today we're going to create a card. We're going to create a scene using two new items that arrived over the Papertrey Ink Shop. We have the Christmas in Frames stamp set. This creates some fun snowmen. And then there is a speech bubble or thought bubble that you can fill in with these two sentiments. Lots of dies in the set, and it does the frame comes with it. If you cut this out, it creates a sectional frame that has 5 different sections, which is pretty neat. And then you can fill those sections in with scene building elements like trees or sunshine, a couple different types of trees, some snowbanks, and of course it'll cut out all of your snowmen too. So we're going to create kind of a fun whimsical kind of card today using this. And then for my background, I thought we'd bring in the Border Bling Candy Cane Frame 1 set. I love this month's release because there's tons of frames in this release, and frames are my thing. So we're going to be using the Border Bling Candy Cane Frame number 1 on our card today. And we're going to start off by creating our background with this first. So I'll put the stamp set off to the side, and we're going to take the largest frame, which will create an A2 frame. So it actually creates a frame that's a little bit smaller than your card base. But you could probably get away with using this as an A2 frame. But let's take some white cardstock, and I will die cut out my frame here with white. And then I'm also going to die cut it out with my sweet blush here. We're going to take some sweet blush and create, we're going to create a sweet blush frame, but we're going to add some pieces with the white. So we'll die cut this out with this one also here. Okay, I will run this through my die cut machine, and then I will be right back. Kind of matches my sweater today. I'll be right back. So I have my 2 frames. We can actually take this inside piece out. But for the most part on this frame, let me take the outside piece too. So for the most part, actually that is pretty perfect thin frame. I could actually use that. I'll keep that. But I want to do a little bit of inlaying with this. So we're going to start by taking some adhesive. I'll put it behind my sweet blush frame. And I'm going to add this to an A2 panel that I created with Papertrey Ink's Hibiscus Burst cardstock. And I mentioned that this will leave just a little bit of a border, so I want to make sure that I center this. Okay, so we have some stripes, candy cane stripes. And then what I'm going to do while this is on my panel, I think I need to add a little more adhesive here. I'm going to there we go. I'm going to use my glue, and on the thinner stripes, I'm going to add a little bit of glue, and we're going to inlay all of these thinner stripes with the white. And the easy way to do it is to add glue to all of the thin stripe areas. Okay, and then I'll take this panel, making sure it's lines up. I will tack this down right over the top, and then just using my craft pick, what I want to do is just press down 2 pinks and some white stripes on our panel. We're going to take this panel and adhere it directly to our card base. We will just tack this down. Now that our background's done, we're going to do some die cutting. This is our frame. I love the sections that this creates. So I'll die cut this out with some white cardstock. Okay, and I love that these little inserts, you have some inserts that you can use for scene building here, which makes it super fun. I want to create 3 snowmans, so I'll do 3 of the snowman base, 3 snowman hats, and then the snowman arms, I'll die cut out 6 times. So we have 2 arms for each snowman. We're going to die cut out a few sets of snowballs, some pine needles. So I have a little bit of die. I'm going to die cut first, and then we'll do some stamping, and then I'll die cut this out also. I have everything die cut, and then while I was die cutting, I also cut out a few snowbanks here. Okay, this is what our frame looks like. Punch these out. Almost like a comic book kind of a strip. I think that looks wonderful. What we're going to start by doing is I'm going to take this frame. We're going to put glue behind our frame. Okay, and then I'm going to tack this. I'm going to kind of center it. Kind of looks funny, but we're going to fill that in with these pieces here. Before we do that, let's go ahead and do our stamping. So I'm going to bring in my grip mat here. And just so these stay in place while I stamp, we're going to add all of these. And we are going to do some base layers first. So I have some, and we're just going to use acrylic blocks. If you want to use your stamping positioner, you could, but for the most part, these are one layers. So we'll take our snowman, kind of season it a little bit, and then we will ink this up with true black ink. And I'm going to stamp each of my snowmen. It's very easy to line up. So we have the base of our snowman. Okay, we have our, next we will stamp the snowballs. And I'm going to stamp that on my thought bubble or my word bubble with my true black ink also. And we're going to stamp our snowman face. I love that they have the snowman face separate because you can kind of create a wonky look for your snowman. For example, this one I can stamp to where he's looking up. So cute. For this one, we can stamp so he's looking down a little bit, and this one we can just stamp right in the middle. And our snowman is almost done. For the rest of our images, we're going to use some colored inks, and we will, let's see, in our stamp set, we have the carrot nose. I'm going to go ahead and add that to an acrylic block, and I'm going to use my orange Zest ink. And we will fill in, it's very easy to fill in our carrot nose here. Cute. We have mint julep, and we're going to use mint julep for our pine needles, and that's this piece here. So let's go ahead and stamp our pine needles. I stamped 5 of them. We may not use them all, but I like to have more than less. And we will just stamp all of these. For the branch of my pine needles, we're going to use dark chocolate ink. And we're going to actually use the same ink too for our snowman's stick arms. Okay, and then we have our hat, our snowman hat. We're going to take that, and I have 3 different colors we're going to use for the hat. We have Hibiscus Burst. This is the same color that we use for our background. And I will stamp this. I'll bring in Sweet Blush, which is also the same color that we use for our background. We'll ink this up and we will stamp this. And then for our third color, I thought we'd bring in a little sunshine. We have Summer Sunrise. Okay. Now we are almost done. I do want to do a few things. In our stamp sets, there are these little stripes here, just above the hat. And I'm going to use these stripes. They could be used for two things. As action kind of motions, as you're throwing snowballs with all of these little swishes. You can see here, these are lots of swishes. But I'm going to use them for accent on my hat. So we will stamp. We'll flip it around a little bit. Okay. Using the same colors of inks, we're going to go ahead and ink up our first layer to the scarf. There's two layers on our stamp set here. You have this one, and then you have the tiny stripes here. We're not going to use the tiny stripes because I want to fill those in with glitter. But we're just going to go ahead and add some color to our scarf. I'm using Sweet Blush. Then we have Hibiscus Burst. Very easy to line up, you can see here. And then our last color will be Summer Sunrise. For the most part, our inking is done, although I do want to add some rosy cheeks to our snowmen. And I'm using a Copic marker. This is RV10. And then I'm going to use a warm gray marker. This is W1, and I'm going to add a little highlight to the snowballs, just to give these a little dimension. Can also add a little dimension to our snowman. Now we're going to layer our hat on top of our snowman that has the same coordinating scarf. Now before I put away my stamp mat, I'm going to bring back that pine needle image, and then I'm going to bring in a darker green. This is Prairie Grass ink. I thought we would add some darker ink here. Just so we're just going to stamp right over our existing leaves. Kind of mixing them, but I really wanted them to stand out. Now for my background pieces, what we're going to do is we're going to add a little bit of Blueberry Sky to the back. We're going to add some color just so it's not white. So I'll pick up a little bit of Blueberry Sky, and then we're going to add some color, about fading halfway down here, like so. Now we're going to take each of our panels, and I'm going to use my glue, and we're going to put these in each of their homes on our background to complete our frame. We actually have a lot of dimension, and there's no dimension yet to our card. Okay, let's take all of our snowman elements, and I thought it'd be fun to have a snowman peeking out on the edge of each of these screens. So we placed our greeting, and then we have our snowballs and our greenery. What we're going to do is pop our snowballs up too, and I wanted them to be having a snowball fight. So I thought we would add a snowball behind each of our snowmen. I think that's just the right amount of greenery. I'm going to add a little sparkle to our scarf with on those stripes with my diamond Stickles. Just keeping it real subtle. Okay, so we have a little sparkle on their scarves, and then for their hat, I'm going to bring in some small iridescent stars, and that will fit. If you wanted to put some glossy accents over the snowballs, you could, but that will finish my card today. Today we used the Papertrey Ink's Border Bling, the brand new candy cane frames #1. And then there's also another 2 candy cane frame that the stripes are straight. So you can check that out. It's part of the new release too. And then we also used the stamp set. It's called Christmas in Frames. Have a great day. Thanks for joining me. We will see you soon. Bye-bye.